All right, welcome to another episode of D.R.E.A.M.S Podcast. I'm on here with my beautiful host, Jackie Mitchell. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, my man. Pleasure seeing you again. Happy week to you, brother. Happy week to you.
Yeah, man. It's been a long week, man. Went to the Seahawks 49ers game and went to Hamilton, Ontario, played in a touch football tournament. Cliff, we still running around, man.
I see.
We still going, man. So,
That's
man,
wonderful, man.
that's one of my favorite teammates, man. Cliff Russell, just a great guy. If I had to sum it up, just a hard worker. Of course, I pride myself on outworking everybody. So he pushed me to the max, man. I love to lift. I used to love to lift weights with him. I couldn't run with him. this guy was, like I said, he was a legit 4'2" guy. And I'm one of those 4'5" guys. But I can run a little bit, but not like him. But man, we appreciate you for coming on, man. Blessing you with your time.
Yeah.
And D.R.E.A.M.S Podcast. For those of you guys who don't know, is discipline, respect, education, accountability, maturation, success. And as I was doing a little research, this is just aligns just perfect because Cliff Russell here has a performance facility, and it's called RIPT Performance: Respect, Integrity, Passion, Purpose, every day. So I said, oh man. So I said, this was meant to be. This is meant to be, man.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So I had to put that in my notes, and so yeah, man. We thank you for coming on. Man, it's been a long time. Cliff's one of those guys where, we follow each other on social media. Obviously, we, a chat here and there, but just a brother for life, man. Just a brother for life. Just a good dude, all around good dude, man. So thank you for coming on.
Man, absolutely.
Yeah,
Flo, man. Hey, those sentiments are mutual, man. It's always good. That's one of the many perks of social media, man. It allows you to stay connected with friends. Otherwise, you can kind of very easily fall off, man. So, but man, love the opportunity to be a part of this, be a part of what you're doing, and it's I look forward to it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll let Mr. Mitchell here take it away, and we'll go back and forth, and ask you some questions, man, and give the people what they want and what they need.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. Well, Scott, thank you for the introduction. Cliff, as I stated, man, thank you for being here. The way we like to pose it, pose it is basically, it's from either beginning to end, middle to end, from end to beginning. So the questions will be, I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be cool, man. So I think, in doing that, for yourself and starting back in, 2000, you did an internship with a sports performance, company. Is that when you realized you was called to pour into people through health and fitness, and also talked about RIP performance and what that means for you?
Yeah, man. You described that precisely. I did do an internship. It was mid 2000s. I was actually in between teams. So for me, man, my situation a little bit different. Really, I'll say is one or two things that's going to happen to you for those who are in the NFL, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. It's going to be one, either you're going to sustain an injury, or two, you're going to be waived or released, man, and your phone's going to stop ringing. So for me, I came in and sustained an injury my rookie season. And, I look back now as the best thing happened to me. I'll touch on that a little bit later. But after that happened, I was very, very awakened of the acronym of NFL, not for long. And I'm like, man, this thing could be done with like that at a blink of an eye. So what happened was I was in between teams. I was with the Miami Dolphins just before I signed with the Denver Broncos. And during that time home, actually was a mentor of mine was saying, hey, during your time in the off season, use that time, be intentional about your time in the off season. So, during that time, I just really took that to explore some things that I was interested in. As Chloe mentioned, man, I've always been a gym rat. love fitness, love training, or what have you. And so I started to work out, stay in shape with a sports performance gym called Velocity. They're the top sports performance gym on the East Coast. They're in Alexandria, Virginia. So I used to go there, work out, and really became friends with the director there. Did an internship because I wanted to just learn more about the gym space, running a facility. In that case, a sports performance gym. So I went in and just kind of learned the ins and outs. Like, asked a bunch of questions, cleaned up, cleaned bathrooms, swept the track, just everything that it took to do that. I knew that there was a small piece of me that wanted to get into training, but I wasn't sure like what capacity. Like, I knew I wanted to do it, wasn't sure like what age, where I wanted to focus my attention. What was that particular age group or demographic that I wanted to work with? So I came out of that situation learning a lot. Velocity was technically sound. Like, they knew the ins and outs of helping individuals become bigger, stronger, faster, teaching proper mechanics, the biomechanics of speed and all that stuff, which is right up my alley. So I learned a great deal coming out of that. And I would say, kind of fast forwarding to me leaving the gridiron in 2008, I left that. And whether you play 2 years, whether you play 6 years like myself, or you have a career like a Tom Brady, during that transition, man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, man, because you're leaving the unreal world and you're stepping into the real world per se, and you're trying to really, really capture. It's almost like a feeling you have. There's a certain adrenaline that you get from playing at that level, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. And as an athlete, it's like you're trying to find that. You're trying to find that. What's that movie to say the Quan?
Quan. Yes, the Quan.
You're trying to
Hoover
find that
Glenn, the
Quan,
Quan.
man.
Yeah, yeah,
So it
yeah.
was like me just really taking some time to assess, what might be that thing I want to pursue. So I thought about maybe going back to school. Knew I wanted to work with kids. I was like, man, let me go back to school, get a master's in psychology, work with kids. 'Cause I really believe in like the mental aspect, the psychology of athletes as well. Um, and then I was like drawn to this training as well, man. So what I did is, I came out of that internship situation, and I said, man, you know what? I want to start my own thing. I learned a great deal because I felt like they had a lot of things together, but the one thing they missed was a heartbeat.
Mm.
I wanted to bring a heartbeat. I wanted to make an impact in the space of sports and athletic. I'm a man of faith. A part of that happened from me coming in the NFL, sustaining that injury. I mean, that completely changed the trajectory of my life as a man. And I knew that I wanted to incorporate that into everything that I did. So it was a journey, man. I did that for 17 years. Started in my basement. Thank God for my wife. I kind of asked her like, "Hey, I want to start a company. I want to do it right here in the basement." And I kind of held my breath. He was like, "Hey, go for it. Let's go. Let's do it." So, man, I gutted the whole basement out. Had turf in there. Had a little weight room, and used my backyard. And man, just started just mentoring athletes. Man, starting them at like middle school, high school. Have some standout athletes started to hear about me, and just started to see some success. And the parents were like, "Hey, what about us?" So I began to just really service the athletes and then their families, man. I really started to just focus on it really being a family focused sports facility. Was kind of my journey with that, or my startup.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's crazy, man. And it's so important, man. And like we were talking about, off camera, one of the things I'm very passionate about, at
Mm,
this present time and moving forward is relationships. And we
mm.
talked about that and teamwork,
Yeah,
whether it be your
yeah.
brothers, your friends, your friends, or, your spouse. And, I saw something recently, either, you have to determine if, do I have a teammate or opponent? And
Mm.
obviously, in your case, you have a wonderful teammate, and you could just see that it was just. I remember when I first met your wife, and I saw you. You guys just fit together. They actually look like brother and sister. I'm telling
If
they
they
just
say you with somebody long enough, you start
yeah,
looking like one
you know,
another.
they just dude, I'm telling you, they just fit. They just when you see them, they just fit. They
That's
honestly
beautiful,
do,
man.
man.
That's what it's about, man. That's what
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
about.
yep,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
yep. No, man. Go but moving on to the next question. You know, before I jump into that, you know, I know you mentioned you know, I know you got hurt your rookie year. Did
Yeah.
that happen in training camp or during a preseason game?
Man, that man, I remember like it was yesterday, man.
Mm.
It man, it happened in training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Happened in training camp. I'm not sure. Was you there yet? Or you
No,
came a
I
little
came
later?
your second. I was there your second
You
year.
came the second year. That's right.
03. Yep. Mm.
So yeah, so this was my rookie season, man. I came in and like you said, man, I just really prided myself on like nobody's gonna outwork me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I you know inherited a lot of that just from my upbringing. My dad been former military, and you know he just kind of raised us to whatever you do your absolute best, do it right the first time, and just kind of develop those disciplines just through life. And so I came in the NFL kind of with that mindset, like nobody's gonna outwork me. I was always willing to do the extra
Mm.
to you know make myself valuable, man,
Mm.
in any team. So I just kind of was going through the you know the new stages of being a professional athlete, off season workouts, mini camps. You know, there's a lot of talk like, hey, man, this guy's a rookie. He's gonna see the field. You know,
Mm.
we just kind of like his character, how he carries himself, things of that nature. So we ended up at Camp Carlisle, and man, it was the third day of practice, second to the last play, and I was in the huddle, and the old ball coach was our head coach. So man, he had me in there in the rotation, you know, running with the ones, the twos, the threes. So second to the last play, I'm in the huddle. I get my number called, so I knew they was gonna throw me the ball. Um, man, ran this route thousands of times. Man, it's gonna run a corner route, and broke the huddle, ran out to the line of scrimmage. I was going against Fred Smoot, actually. Going against Fred Smoot, and burst off the line. Had myself a position to run a corner route. And as soon as I stuck my cleat in the ground, man, I just felt that jolt in my knee.
Yeah.
Went down untouched. And man, you just have that feeling like, man, something's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Training staff came over, assessed the situation, and man, later on that day, man, found out I tore my ACL, man, some cartilage damage. Man, and I was devastated, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
that was
That was your left or right knee.
my right knee.
So you were on the left side. So that must have been it was that play. It was called Ralph and
Ralph and Lonnie.
Ralph and Lonnie. Yeah, that's what it was. if
Still
they
remember.
were in cover 3 or 4, you ran a curl, but if they were in 2, you
Ran
ran
that corner.
run that corner route. That was a Steve
Yeah,
Spurrier
exactly right.
offense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You still remember it.
Oh yeah, yep,
Yep. Running that
yeah,
corner, man. Untouched too, man. Untouched. As you know, like
yeah,
ACLs, that's an injury,
yep,
non-contact.
yep,
And it was just kind of the perfect timing of just that plant.
yeah,
And man, me just tearing that ligament, man. And
yeah, yeah,
like I
yeah,
said, I was devastated. I was
yeah.
devastated. I was broken. Man, I was angry, man. I was angry. I was man, like you know, I heard Jackie say earlier, man, I just found out in that situation just how much I had allowed football to become, you know, tied up in my identity, man. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I call them counterfeit guys that we all have. It was, you know, that was my counterfeit God. I just started
Mm-hmm.
playing when I was 8 years old. Everything I had was into, you know, my heart and soul into performing,
Mm-hmm.
into what I did. You know, a lot of that was
Yep,
football. So
yep,
temporarily, thank God was taken away. You know, and I found myself really at a place I was broken. You know,
yeah.
just kind of like a lot of athletes, man, outside looking in,
Mm-hmm.
look like they have it together, man, but they bleeding on the inside, man. They hurt,
Yeah, yeah.
man, and I was hurt, man. I was devastated, and
Mm-hmm.
really just trying to go through life, man, and really trying to figure things out. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
was taking painkillers and you know drinking and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of dying a slow death, man, and
Yeah,
just lost. So
yeah.
in that moment, man, just really just like I said, it changed the trajectory of my life
Mm-hmm.
just from just who I became as a man in terms of
Yeah.
just my faith in Christ, man. He just kind of he pulled me out
Mm-hmm.
through a question that I was asked, man. And I
Yeah.
ask people that question even today. You know,
Mm.
it was our team chaplain, man. He asked me a question. He just said, "How you doing?"
Mm.
You know, he just asked me a question. How you
That's
doing?
powerful, Cliff. That's powerful,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That's a powerful question because
Yeah.
most people are never honest and it's never expected. So that's a
Yeah.
powerful question, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, man. And
Yeah.
you know how we do it. We give him the rundown of, hey, my need is I'm looking forward to coming back bigger, stronger, faster.
Mm-hmm.
And man, he looked me dead in my eyes and said, man, I'm not asking about your knee. He
Mm-hmm.
said, man, he said, how you doing spiritually?
Mm.
Man, and I gave him that answer like we all do.
Good. Good.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But man, I never forget it, man. Over the next 2 weeks, me alone in my apartment, you know, in the dark by myself, just hearing that question, man, how am I doing spiritually, man? I realized that, man, spiritually I'm lost.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I was just recognized, man, just how far I was, man, from God.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and just and I just felt like I was just so far from him.
Mm-hmm.
Man, but God just so good, man. He, you know, he loves, he began to pursue me, man, just through, man, the other athletes on the team. Like my locker was right next to Daryl Green. It was like a setup, man.
Mm-hmm.
Locker was right next to Daryl Green. So I'm seeing his life. He, you know, he's speaking to me on a daily basis. And
Mm-hmm.
other individuals on that team, man, was really just helped really define what they saw in me that I didn't see. You know, and that was just my lack of, man, the relationship, man, with Christ. So through that, man, I was able to come into a true relationship with him, man.
Mm-hmm.
True relationship with Christ, man. And it just completely changed the trajectory of my life, man. Like it just changed my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
recognize like, man, I'm here because he got me here. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did work hard. Yeah, I did have amazing speed. But man, God has a plan for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 No, that's beautiful, man. You obviously you lost one thing, even though you still end up playing 6 years, but definitely if you don't get hurt, you're starting you're on the other side of the rock garden starting, right?
Exactly.
But you gain something greater, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna carry you on for the rest of your life. So, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
it so that's a beautiful thing, man. It's kind of switch gears a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk about like your, because a lot of people have a lot of questions with, regarding like the NFL experience, the NFL combine, like what's
Yeah.
that like? Talk about that experience, the NFL draft combine experience, what did you kind of focus on doing, like your preparation? And did anything catch you by surprise that you weren't prepared for?
Yeah, man. The NFL combine, man, is man, it's just a huge, huge audition, man. It's like, first of all, you get an invite. I guess I'll start and say what was most surprising was just how long that journey is, man, leading up
Mm-hmm.
to the draft itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're starting way back with a bowl game, so it started like me being invited to the Senior Bowl. You know, you're under extreme evaluation right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going in, you're being assessed, evaluated daily by NFL coaches who run that camp. So I had the opportunity to play in that camp. But that was the journey. That was the start of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get the invite to the combine,
Mm-hmm.
and so from there, my focus was for me to. It's like my receiver coach was Coach Fred Graves. Man, love him. He
Mm-hmm.
went on to coach in the NFL for over 15 years. He was my receiver coach at Utah, man. And I came in as a running back. A lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I was recruited as a running back, man. And they changed my position to receiver. So I was very raw, man,
Yeah.
very raw at wide receiver. So he pretty much taught me the ins and outs of that position. And man, I hated it, man. I hated the transition. Wanted to, man, if they had the portal, I would have been out of there.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but man, he taught me the ins and outs of it. And I remember in practice, man, he used to scream at me. And I used to think this dude hated me. Man, he
Yeah.
used to give me such a hard time. But you know how it is. They
Mm-hmm.
see something in you and they just trying to pull the best out of you. And man, he used to scream at the top of his lungs, run! He was like, sprint! At the top of his lungs. I'd be like, man, this dude just yelling at me in front of the whole team.
Yeah.
But what he was saying, man, was he helped me recognize, man, that was my greatest asset was my speed, man. And that was a gift that I had. And he was like, man, get out there and run. And he was like, don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Just use your gift. Just burst
Mm-hmm.
off the line and run and sprint.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I just kind of took that and went into the next season. Like, hey, if I'm gonna be a wide receiver, I'm gonna try to be the best receiver I could be. Start getting out those cones, working on my breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Started working, longer routes, intermediate routes, just how to utilize my speed. And man, he kind of helped draw out that, man, my greatest asset is my speed. So that was my focus, man, going into the combine was, man, I know without a doubt, man, that my strength is my speed. So let me show that.
Mm-hmm. And what'd you run at the combine?
So at the combine, I ran a 4.3 at the combine,
Mm-hmm.
but at my pro day, I ran a 4.22.
Whew. Yeah, that's
And
blazing.
all in front of all 32 NFL teams was there.
Yeah, I bet they was like, "What you get? What you get?" Yeah, they
man.
got on the horn right there. Hey, we got
4.22.
this one. Yeah,
Flying,
you know how it goes. Yeah, no, man. That's
man.
that's crazy. No, that's like you said. Yeah, like they say, if you leaving,
That's
you better,
it, man.
like I said, you better take off running because he. I mean, I used to love watching him when he run a poster and go. I'm like, oh, watch Cliff get him. No, man, we used to, when Cliff came off his knee injury, it was he and I were we used to run scout team against Champ Bailey and Fred Smoot. And we used to be, we come out there ready
to go.
Get ready.
Hey, we used to eat them boys up.
Oh yeah,
Hey, that was our game.
yeah,
Exactly.
We used to be like, got it.
got it.
Yeah.
They used to be so mad.
They used to be hot.
Oh, they'd be like, hey,
Me and Go be jumping up.
Yeah, celebrate. Oh, they used to be mad. The DB coach, I forgot his name. He used to be 38 hot. He'd be so mad because he'll be like, hey, you guys come out. They would literally say, man, just man, calm down today. Y'all just come out.
Yeah, just
man, we just y'all about to get this smoke today. So no, man.
right.
But yeah, no, we had some fun, man. We had some good time.
Man.
Yeah.
Those are the days, man. Great memories.
Yeah. But I think like switching gears, like I stated, man, off camera when we first got on, I always, and I'm learning, more as we progress with this interview is, during the time we met in 2003. So that was during your transition.
Yeah.
I thought you had been like that your whole life because you were so humble, so it kind of go back to something else you mentioned, when you were in between teams, you did an internship just to show how humble you were to sweep and do whatever was needed. You see what I'm saying? If you don't find Christ and grow spiritually, you're not humble enough to do that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so it just speaks to your character and the man you are. And it's kind of leads my like I said, I've always been impressed with just the way you carried yourself, the way you treated your wife. And just you guys' relationship was just and I understand nothing's perfect, but it's just at the end of the day you can tell when something is right though. And so talk about that a little bit, man, in terms of how did you guys meet and when did you know like this is the one for me?
Yeah, man. We so she went to Utah as well. I went to the University of Utah. So I played my college ball. And man, we actually met on spring break. So we didn't know each other. I did see her a couple of times around campus. And at the time, man, my parents lived in Hawaii. So I couldn't afford to go all the way back home to Hawaii for spring break. So some of my teammates were from California. It was like, man, just come home with us for spring break. So I go back to California with them. She's originally from California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's from Northern California. So so she went back home for spring break, and I went with some of my teammates on spring break. So in California is where we actually met. So we was out and about, and it was like you pass somebody, you just like do a double take, like you look familiar. Like I've seen you somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah, you go to my college. I'm like, your college?
My college. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So we talked, man. We danced, and then I went back to Utah. I looked her up, found her, and man, we hung out, man. We watched Poetic Justice. I don't know if you remember
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. Tupac. Tupac.
Man,
Oh
that,
boy,
yeah, old
brushing his
school
hair.
over there.
What's his name?
Exactly.
Tori.
Yeah, my
Guy
man
Tori.
brushing it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we were watching Poetic Justice, man, and man, she fell asleep.
Mm.
She just kind of fell asleep, man, in my lap, and I was just kind of looking at her. You just kind of had that moment, like, man, you know what? I was like, man, I think I'm gonna marry this girl.
Yeah.
You just kind of have that,
Yeah.
like, don't know where it come from. You just like, man, I'm gonna marry this girl. And
Yeah.
man, the rest was history, man. We pretty much just dated through college. And like I said, man, I left, went to the NFL. She was finishing school.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I was just going through my whole thing, tore my knee.
Mm-hmm.
And man, just going through it, man. I almost lost her because I
Mm.
was just so broken.
Yeah.
So broken, man. It was just
Yeah.
like, you so broken, you want to push everything else away from
Yeah.
you,
Away. Yep.
because you don't want people to see you in that state, man.
Mm-hmm.
Where we should do the opposite. But for me, man, I was just so broken. I was just pushing everybody away.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until, man, that Christ came in and changed my heart, man, and changed my entire, my perspective in life,
Mm-hmm.
that I pursued her, man, and said, hey, let's come on out, man. So she graduated college. She came out to Washington, and I wanted to do the right thing. We didn't want to live together. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I firmly believe, like, the foundation that you set, man, it says a lot. Your
Yeah.
foundation. He was like, we don't want any cracks. So,
Mm-hmm.
man, my pastor, my mentors, he was the chaplain. Man, he married us, man. It was me, Leah, and then another couple who kind of mentored us.
Mm-hmm.
So it was us. We got married. So we wanted to do the right thing. So that was kind of our stance of, hey, this is how we're gonna build our life on that. Then the
Mm-hmm.
next year we had our ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
our wedding, and then yeah, man, like you said, been married 21 years, got 3 kids, and man, it's like, man, we knew each other when we were teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah.
See the gray hairs coming in now, and we
Yeah.
just learning that, man, you just got to invest in your marriage. And marriage is seasons, man. So we had
Yeah.
some rocky seasons. I mean, you go
Yeah.
through just the changes of life, man. But
Mm-hmm.
the one thing that keeps us is just kind of coming back, understanding, like, all right, Christ is the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's the head coach of this team. So we
Mm-hmm.
got to always come back and submit,
Mm-hmm.
come under him to make sure, like, we can recalibrate
Mm-hmm.
and get back focused, and be able to leave a legacy.
Yeah. What was the chaplain's name? I can see his face, but I can't remember his
Brett
name.
Fuller.
Brad Fuller. Okay. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Good dude. I just remember he's a good, solid dude, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I turn over to Jackie, what advice would you give to just individuals, period, in terms of how to, I guess, keep a fulfilling relationship? Because 21 years, we got to realize, right? Divorce rates are almost 70%. So you're defeating the odds, right?
Yeah.
And which is something which is amazing. So like what advice would you give just men in general, how to conduct themselves in a relationship, in a marriage, and to like I said, have a thriving relationship?
Right. I think a lot of times it's like we think about the wedding, right? Think
Mm-hmm.
about the wedding in front of all of our family, our friends, and it's like, man, it's just beautiful. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like life begins after you leave that ceremony and you go home, and it's just the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have two individuals who grow up different, two different households, to a certain extent, completely different. And you're then coming together trying to become one. So part of that becoming one is really loving one another unconditionally, because you both have strengths, you both have weaknesses. And a lot of times those strengths that you have can annoy the other person.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand, like, man, those strengths that she has, is meant to come and complement me.
Mm.
So really, it's making the investments in your marriage. Like we still invest in our marriage. Like just last weekend, we went to a marriage workshop.
Mm.
So information we might have heard already,
Mm-hmm.
but it's good
Mm-hmm.
to to come back and hear that information again, just to kind of
Mm-hmm.
use that to assess to see where you are. That brings about conversations you can have. So I think investing in your marriage, just like you do, with your money or
Mm-hmm.
anything else, man.
Mm-hmm.
What you put into it, you're gonna get a return on that
Mm-hmm.
investment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like after your wedding ceremony, you
Mm-hmm.
stop doing the investments, man, and then hey, you start to exhaust. You exhaust that fund, man, and it's like, man, you
Yeah.
have nothing to draw from. And
Yeah.
that's where you find people starting to go apart.
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of that, it's like, for us, it's like we both, number one, hey, we want to love each other,
Mm-hmm.
like Christ would have us do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the greatest advice I would give, man, is to one, I mean, part of being a man is the way in which you love your wife, man. That's the greatest demonstration, really, of love, man. And
Mm-hmm.
God sees that, and He honors that, man. And if
Mm-hmm.
we do the opposite,
Mm-hmm.
He will oppose you.
Mm-hmm.
Scripture even says that. If you
Mm-hmm.
treat your wife harshly, He ain't gonna hear your prayers, man. So your
Mm-hmm.
prayers won't even get through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
So the way in which we love our wife is the greatest demonstration. So I learned that over the years too, just how
Yeah.
to love her, how to really know who she is, and and vice versa. So man, it's like it's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's a journey, man, because you change.
Yeah.
You
People change.
change over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, the investment, you can't keep spending the money and nothing coming in.
You're not coming in. Yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
look up. They're like, oh man, yeah,
I'm broke.
you can't put that on credit.
No, little wait.
Yes, sir. No, sir,
No.
man.
Yeah, no, for
You got to
sure.
invest in that thing, man.
Definitely, man. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. Because hearing this, I get emotional, Cliff. Scott, I get emotional, man. And I love love, man. I love it because it's one of the most powerful things, and it can change so many things, man. And just to know the way you did it and how you, like you said, laid the foundation, it speaks a lot to your character, man. So thank you for sharing that. And I'll touch base with you on that later when we get later on in the show. But man, I thank you for sharing that because a lot of young couples, whether they're, newlyweds, in between, just dating, they don't realize that. They don't realize that, like you said, the evolution and the investment. Those are two powerful words right there because we all are changing. We're all evolving. And
Yes.
like you said, we're making those deposits daily, those daily deposits. And that changes. That can be the difference in good, bad, you know what I'm saying, in any situation, man. So thank you for sharing that, man. That's pretty powerful. I wish you guys continued success in your marriage, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. And getting, back to the football side of, you played a total of 6 years, and the teams that you were with, I mean, drafted in the 3rd round, 87th overall, exciting. You're excelling. Now you get there. Now you go to Washington, then you go to Cincinnati, then you go to Denver, then you go to Miami, and you've had a chance to play with some great players. I'm just going to name a few. Brandon Marshall, Chad Ochocinco Johnson, or Chad Ochocinco. Let me change that because he changed his name to Ochocinco. You have Bruce Smith, and you have Champ Bailey, as you spoke of. You and Scott spoke of early. Like, just to name a few of those guys, what really, when you were there watching, because it seems like you're a student of the game, what set them apart from the pack?
Man, that's a great question, Jackie. Number one, man, NFL, man, everybody can play. Everybody's good, man.
I tell people that all the time.
Come from different
And the
colleges,
best
come
sometimes don't
from
play, man.
some from smaller schools, some from big time programs, but on that platform, man, everybody can play. You mean it's just you got respect for everybody.
Absolutely.
And like you said, I was a journeyman, so I had opportunity to play on different teams, different cultures, different standout players. I heard you mention Chad Ocho Cinco. I knew him when he was Chad Johnson before Ocho.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a dangerous receiving core, man. It was Chad, myself, Peter Warwick, TJ Hushmanzada. So we had a lot of fun with that. One thing I appreciated about Chad, man, and was just his passion, man, and his love, like for the game. He was, man, he just was so passionate about it. Like through his passion, it's like it drove him every day. Drove him every day. Like he was, man, wanting the ball constantly. Man, he was the first guy I ever seen cry because he wasn't getting the ball. Like literally tears coming out his eyes, crying because man, he wanted the ball, man. So man, that dude got some crazy passion, and he had the work ethic to match.
Mm-hmm.
He had the work ethic to match, man. He really wanted to be the best at what he did. We hear him verbalizing that a lot. But he really wanted to be the best, man. He'd get out there, hit the cones. I mean, he worked hard in the off season. And when he said like, "Hey, can't nobody cover me?" I mean, he put the work in. He said that because of the trenches that he was in. The work, the sweat, the grind that he went through to step on that field and be able to do it day in and day out. So I was able to experience that behind the scenes, and just see how he was a student of the game and just how hard he worked. There's another fella too, man. When I was in Miami, Chris Chambers. Chris Chambers, another great receiver, man. I got a chance to play with. Chris Chambers, man. He very soft spoken, man, but he was a guy who, man, he got the job done. Super smart, student of the game, and man, had some of the longest arms I've ever seen on a human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And man, he had
Yeah.
some crazy hands too, man. It
Yeah.
was just like, so I just had an opportunity, man, just to learn from so many of these great wide receivers, man, that just brought a different skill set, but all the variables that just made them great. Then on the other side of the ball, Champ Bailey, who we already mentioned, you can't help but to get better going against a guy like that. So I was with him in Washington. We both was with the Broncos as well at the same time. So I had kind of two runs with Champ going against him in practice, and just know that he would come up and give me some tips in terms of like, hey, this is what we're looking at, try to do this better, and I would always take that, and I always appreciated that about him. He was good, but he wants to see others around him get better as well, and I think all those guys are like that. They weren't selfish. They want to see the guys around them, elevate, raise their level of play competition.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. Thank you for sharing. And it was a few people that Scott know I feel about Champ. I think he's one of the best ever. Because I was a defensive back, Cliff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I used to be like, let me watch this guy over here, man. What he doing over here? So through that realm of me, I'm a huge Champ fan. So I know we got two receivers on the line, so I won't say too.
But Jack, I always tell people. Sorry to interrupt, but I always tell people about what you just said, Cliff. Champ Bailey taught me so much doing walkthrough, and he was so detailed. If I remember we were playing the Buccaneers, and they had Keyshawn Johnson and Keenan McCardell, I believe. And then Cliff's playing Keenan McCardell, and I'm playing Keyshawn Johnson. And so Champ, if he was following that person, he's like, this is how he does this. This is how he wanted it exactly.
Yep.
How he ran. And then in walkthrough, he would say, this is what I'm thinking. He would tell you, this is what I'm thinking here. And so I know, now me playing like flag football and touch football, I'm playing both ways in the DB. I learned this stuff from him. I get a lot of interceptions from the stuff he taught me.
Right.
Champ was just a student of the game, man, and definitely appreciative of him. He would definitely teach the young guys and everybody around him. Just a good guy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Privilege.
Yeah.
That's solid, man. That's solid, man. We're going to gauge a little bit into back. But, man, speaking to your marriage, you now have 3 kids.
Yeah,
right?
Yes, sir.
What do you have? What do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
Man, we got 3 with boy, girl, boy.
Okay.
So my oldest, 14, his name is Ezra. 14, man, Cole, I think he just got me, man, and height wise. So he a
Oh,
tall 14, and he was like, Dad, I'm taller than you now. But I always hit him with, hey, are you dunking yet?
yeah,
Not yet, not yet. All right,
yeah.
come see me when you dunking,
Yeah.
son. He's like, man. But yeah, but he's super athletic, man, super smart. Like, man, he got so many gifts and talents that I never had. 14, the oldest. And then my baby girl, she's right in the middle. Her name is Zion. She's 12 years old. And man, like I said, that's my baby girl. She's playing soccer. My oldest playing basketball. That's his sport
Mm.
that he's fallen in love with. And then we got my youngest, Caleb. He's 9. And man, he want to play it all, Chloe. He's like, hey, I want to do it all.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he confident about that
He
thing
got
too.
that dog. He got that dog in him, huh?
Yeah, you got it, man. You got it. But
Yeah,
it's fun,
yeah.
man. So it's I just love the age that they're in now, seeing them playing sports and really starting to. My wife, she really loved like when they was babies and holding them. It's like now, it's like, man, this the age group I
Yes.
love,
Absolutely.
man.
Mm-hmm.
Have conversations and just kind of see how they're thinking
Mm.
and just be there, man, as a support.
Absolutely. And that's a great segue because in addition to that, having the 3 kids now, playing professional sports, being in those locker rooms, being around that culture, the different mindsets, the different mentality, the different disciplines, you know what I'm saying? What did you learn from playing football that you could not pass on to them?
Mm, man, that's a great question. Man, what I tell them is one, and they will tell you if they was here, never give up, never quit. But just the importance of how your mindset matters, in life. Like I tell them about my football career, just full of ebbs and flows, trials, tribulations. And if you just kind of take that into life, it's the inevitable. You're gonna find yourself in situations of adversity, in situations of setbacks, dire situations where you're going to be uncomfortable. That's the inevitable. That's life. But I've learned, and what I'm telling them is, it's not about like what you're going through, but it's about what's happening on the inside of you while you're going through that, and how those situations they come, but it's a choice. They come to make you better. So it's like through adversity lies greatness. And that greatness on the other side is either you're going to be bitter or you're going to be better. So you got to choose to be better. So if you're choosing to be better, your mindset matters. So it's your perspective. It's like, are you going to be a victim and say, hey, woe is me? Why is this happening? You going to shrink back? Or are you going to have an attitude of excellent effort? Like I tell them, you got to commit. You got to commit to an attitude of excellent effort, and all that you do are some of the things that they hear coming out of my mouth. Be positive. Constantly be positive. Because what you say have power. Those are the same things that I would do within myself. Is what I say has power. So I need to encourage myself. You've heard the knee injury that I sustained, many other injuries, nicks and bruises, and ended my career with a neck injury as well. So all those things, man, God used that to grow me and develop me of who I am now as a man. It just gave me incredible endurance in life, gave me incredible perseverance, and just a stick to itness with what you're doing, willing to go through it and out on the other side of it.
Absolutely. Hey, man. Hey. I be jotting my notes now, so I
Yeah,
stole a few nuggets from that.
yeah, yeah. Me too.
So,
I saw. Yeah, you,
yeah,
he,
man.
he,
No, man. But
he,
thanks for sharing. And really, man,
yeah,
as you stated, Cliff, the gift that keeps giving all those kids, man.
Yeah,
And the
sir.
gift that keeps giving. So I totally understand that, man. So
Yeah,
hmm
yes.
absolutely.
yeah. That's powerful.
They
Either
are
you're gonna be
blessed. They are
you're
a
gonna be
blessing.
bitter. You're gonna be bitter or better.
Be better.
Yeah,
That's it. That's
it's a
That's
it.
that's
choice.
that's part. Yeah,
It's a
yeah. It's a
choice,
choice.
man.
It's a choice. Yeah, that's huge, man. Man, we winding it down. But this has been amazing, man. Yeah, I told you, Jay, I knew this was gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
I did. I said, I knew it. I said, man,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a good one, man. I knew it. This is awesome. But man, just kind of transitioning. I was doing a little bit of research, and your parents have been married 51 years. Is that correct?
Yeah, they just made 51, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
amazing, man.
You
That's
done some great
beautiful.
research.
Yeah, man. We dig, and yeah, man. We digging for
Y'all digging
everything
in
we can
there.
find. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
so I mean, obviously that's a beautiful thing. Great role models for you. Talk about the example they've been in your life in terms of husband and wife and how to raise a family.
Yeah, man, my parents, they are a tremendous blessing. So I grew up in a family, man, 7 kids.
Whoa.
So I'm the middle child of 7, man, 5 boys, 2 girls. And man, my mom and dad, they got married. They were one of them couples got married right out of high school.
Hmm.
And mom got married. They wanted to have a bunch of kids. Dad went into the military. And both of them, man, just grew a very rough
Hmm.
upbringing. Like,
Hmm.
they could write a book. My mother actually did write a book.
Hmm.
And they joined together in marriage, man. And they set the foundation. They were a huge example because my dad was in Thailand and my mom was in New York. He's from North Carolina. And
Hmm.
my mom, she's from New York. He was in Thailand. She was in New York during their time away. Man, they both meet their best friends, and both of their best friends are Christians, and
Hmm.
introduced them to Christ.
Hmm.
So they were apart, and they both came to know Christ when they was apart. They came
Hmm.
back together, and that was the beginning of
Yeah.
it. Man. And they started to have kids, and they ended up having me. I was the middle child of 7, so I was just right in the midst of it, man, able to experience it.
Hmm.
I was able to experience the hard times, man,
Yeah.
the rough times of,
Hmm.
man, we gonna make it.
Hmm.
Being able to see them through those times of intense fellowship, being able to
Hmm.
see that and experience it, but
Hmm.
seeing all in all how they stay committed, man. They stay committed to their relationship. They stay committed to us, teaching us
Hmm.
what was right,
Hmm.
teaching us to, what hard work looks like, teaching us, all those things, the importance of faith,
Hmm.
and what have you, man. So they're a great asset to have for me and my wife.
Yeah.
We can always call on them. They're always giving little nuggets, checking
Hmm.
in on us, see how we doing.
Hmm.
And man, we was able to kind of celebrate this past summer, man. We all went on a cruise. And man, it was just a tremendous blessing, man, to see
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
seeing
That's
them and all
awesome.
the kids, and man, we just hanging out, having a good time, and just
Yeah.
reminiscing.
Hmm.
Remember our fondest memories of how, just Thanksgiving, man. My parents would always invite people over, man.
Hmm.
Like everybody knew the Russells, man. We have a
Hmm.
big old dinner, and somebody knew was gonna come. Cause my mom, dad, say, "Hey, man, y'all come
Yeah.
on over and eat."
Yeah.
And that's just them, man. It's like they know so many people. Everywhere we go, somebody gonna know them. But man, they're just rich, man, rich in love. They're just
Hmm.
rich in just investing in others and serving, community, just faith. And man, those are the things that they're leaving a legacy, man, for
Yeah.
myself, my brothers and sisters, and a huge part of that is just growing up in that household, man.
Hmm. Yeah. No, that's beautiful, man. It's just to have an example like that and just showing you the way, you know,
Hmm.
it's just that's so important. And definitely you guys were extremely blessed to have that. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
just that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing, man. And then like things, and it's when it's all said and done, like you said, that's what it's about. You guys going on that cruise, all
Hmm.
the grandkids, all the family, and I've been, I've saw a couple of posts on Instagram where people are interviewing elderly people who are 95, close to
Yeah.
100, and that's the one thing they
Yeah.
said that like they asked them different questions, and it was 5 different couples, and the one thing that they all had in common is said they would invest in family and relationships and not focus so much on material things and money. Those things come and go, right? And so and that's a hint. I mean, if everyone said that, it's like I say, success leaves clues. And if everyone said that, then that's what we need to focus on, right?
Man,
Relationships and the people around us, serving each other and loving each other, spreading positivity, man. So yeah, no, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. We'll yeah, man.
You know, yeah, I get emotional over here, man. So I got to keep it together, man. You know, that's my type of talk, there, Cliff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's my type of get down, man. Because and what I appreciate even more is the dialogue and the verbiage. See, me and Scott speak about the emotional intelligence of people, right? Instead of you stating, arguing, or misunderstanding, you said intense fellowship. You understand that? Like when you say, instead of, you said, man, they're rich, not monetarily, but from the relationships, from the unions they built, from the doors that they left open for those people to walk into your home, so they get to share that rich. Man, let me tell you something. I got emotional here. I'm sorry. Sometimes I gotta hold it in. So, but I gotta share it. So, man, I just thank you. I thank you again for sharing those things, because so many of us, especially young Black children, Black men, Black girls, don't get that experience. You know what I'm saying? So, man, for your family to open up their home, to know they saw, just like you say, certain people saw things in you in the neighborhood, those neighborhood kids, your friends, your brothers and sisters' friends. Hey, y'all come on over, because there was a safe place. So, man, I applaud you, your parents, and congratulations on 51 years as well, man. So that's powerful right there, man. So from that, man, it's like, wow, man. But for me, like I said, I get back on track. I'm sorry, but Scott knows how I feel about that stuff, man. I'm sorry. In this last question, man, and I kind of feel like where you'll go with it, but I can't wait to hear your answer. Cannot wait to hear your answer. So I'm assuming around that time, that could have been a very pivotal point in your life, right? So what advice would you give, or what is it what you would change, and what would you tell the 21-year-old Cliff Russell?
Wow. Let me think about that one for a sec.
Because while you're thinking, I just want to paint a picture, and I could be wrong, but by the time you're out of college, that's around that time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That could have been around that time of, like you said, you're ascending. Like you said, that could have been around the injury. I don't know. But what I do know, at that 21-year-old, that's a transitional phase for many of us. You see what I'm saying? And one thing I want to add and to attest to, and I hate to say this, but it's the reality. One of the things that the African-American household does, when you turn 18, you're a man, get out. You see what I'm saying? So, we go to college at, 17, 18, depending on, what year, some a little older. So, 2, 3, 4 years, you're anywhere between 18 to 22.
Yeah.
So you're playing in Utah, you getting the accolades, you're starting to, grow athletically, academically, you're getting the exposure. 21st birthday, what you got?
Man, I would tell the 21-year-old Cliff, and this might catch you off guard. I would tell him this right here. I would say, Cliff, you are not expendable. I would say, Cliff, you are not expendable. Because I feel like, and I'm looking back when I was 21, 22, 23, getting drafted, been in a professional round. I lost the joy, man. I lost the joy and the love of competition because of the business of football. And because of that, there are certain anxieties and fears that I developed from that happened from allowing the business and the pressures of performance, the tension that comes with that, for me to kind of take on a sense of, man, I could be here today and then gone tomorrow because there's somebody else. And I think a lot of men walk around like they're expendable, and I would tell Clip, man, you are not expendable. Man, you are a tremendous asset. I would tell him that, man, God has put purpose on you, in you, and he's created you with purpose and for purpose to do great things. And that this is just the beginning. A lot of times the football is kind of football in the NFL. It could be seen as, the greatest thing in life, the end all be all. But that's just a stepping stone. It was just a stepping stone for me. And, and once I recognized that, man, I'm not expendable, which came later on in life. If I had that mindset early on as a 21, 22-year-old, understanding my value and that my identity, should be in Christ and him alone, who knows what would have happened. I'm grateful. I wouldn't change a thing at all. I don't think I would change a thing at all, because everything that I've gone through up until this point, God has used it, man. He has used it tremendously to change my life, to grow me up. And I think the greatest thing that we could ever experience in life is transformation, and this transformation of our mind, and a transformed mind will transform your life. So that's what I would tell the 21-year-old Cliff, and anyone else that's listening, is that right there, that your identity, don't let your identity be in what you do. Don't let your identity be in your appearance. Don't let your identity be in your performance. Don't let your identity be in what others might think of you or suggest who you should be or what you should do. Let your identity be established on Christ. Through that, you're gonna discover your purpose, and that purpose is gonna be, it's gonna be so much bigger. It's gonna exceed your expectations of what you even would have thought.
That's beautiful. Well, I can tell you what, this episode has exceeded my expectations. And
Beyond measure.
and as we wrap it up, man, I just want to say I'm so proud of you for, the man that I met and the person you've matured into.
Yeah.
The growth in you is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And definitely, man, I'm extremely proud of your emotional intelligence, your awareness is amazing. And thank you for coming on, man. And where could people find you on social media and your website for your gym?
Yeah, they can go to so on Instagram it's Coach_Cliff Russell. They can go in there, keep up with us.
Mm-hmm.
Also area director for Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So that's a new role that I stepped into, just kind of a higher calling of greater capacity to impact athletes and coaches, uniting faith in sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I oversee the FCA ministry in Loudoun County. So they can go to loudonfca.org. Check us out on there. They can, they can contribute to what we do in there, whether it be if they're in the area, someone view this and they're in the area, they can come, they can volunteer their time, their talent, as well as their resources as well to help us continue to extend and expand, the work of God, man, in the space of sports.
Definitely, man. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Well, Jackie, I'll let you bring us home and wrap this thing up, and it'll be another beautiful episode down, man.
Yeah, man, I almost got out of my chair because I don't know what else to say, man. No, man. First off, Scott, man, thank you for making this happen. Cliff, thank you. This has been an absolute treasure, absolute treasure, man. And I applaud you, Cliff. I applaud you with the loudest of applause because it's bigger than the game. And many people get lost in that game, like you say, with the identity. And one of the things that I share with people is the game is the business and the business is the game. And you are absolutely right. We become so succumb to that environment, and it literally, I mean, it affects everything that you do. Like you said, it's the anxieties, the pressure, the tensions, the not knowing, the early mornings, your nutrition, your rest. It affects you tenfold, and many people can't handle that pressure.
Yeah.
Many people cannot handle that pressure. But just to know that the vulnerability that you shared on this show, like you said, from the injury, from, the drinking, the pills, it's just like, I thank you because they think we are superheroes. And we're just like them. You know what I'm saying? We're just like you. We got same problems. We deal with the exact same thing. The only thing is we're doing it at a level that some people will never reach, and for you to speak about your purpose. Hey man, that right there alone, to know who you are, to know what the purpose that God has for you in your life, to lead your family, to continue to change lives. And also, like I said, starting from that top with your mom and your dad, it just speaks volume. It speaks consistency. It speaks perseverance. But the most, I promise you, the common denominator, Christ.
Yeah.
Christ.
That's
You
right.
see what I'm saying? Where do you go wrong with that?
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like, where can you go wrong? Like you said, you've taken yourself out of the equation. Like I said, lean out on your own understanding. Like,
Right.
what better person to have as your coach, as you
That's
said?
right.
Man, you're gonna make me start freaking. It's just like that
Yeah.
riles me up, man, because
Absolutely. Man.
that comes from the spirit, man, and that right there is why me and Scott do this show. You know what I'm saying? And these are the things, and we've had some great guests, but these are the things that I am so appreciative of, because we talk about the same things, we just get to them in a different route. You see what I'm saying? And
That's right.
so one of the biggest things you said, and Scott, I'm like, when he said, wait a minute, I can't get this right. Leads lies in adversity. You say when it lies in adversity. So what I
Through
literally,
adversity.
through adversity
Through
lies.
adversity lies greatness.
So through adversity lies. So I'm sitting up here, I literally seen adversity lie down, crossed out greatness.
That's
You
right.
see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to commit, and the crazy thing about it is, like you said, God wants a commitment.
That's
He
right.
wants a commitment, man. He wants that. He wants that commitment. And I feel through
So
your
true.
journey, through the things that you've been able to accomplish with your family, with the friends, Scott, the relationships, man,
Yes, sir.
I just applaud you, and I thank you for honoring, and being not honoring, but just being a part of what we're doing, man.
Yeah, man.
And honor us with your presence, honor us with your words, honor us with your thought, because a pair of lips to say anything. But what I appreciate is the nuggets. What I appreciate are just the profound things the simplest things can mean the greatest things, man. And when you simplify it as such, man, I'm blown away. I'm really just blown away, man. And when Scott said it, he was like, "You're gonna enjoy this," and I'm just like overwhelmed with just gratitude, man. Just absolute gratitude, and I am grateful that I get to meet another brother, because in that game, you see all these people around. You don't know who people are unless you have this interaction. You
That's
don't know
right.
what they stand for. You don't know what they're
Yeah.
about. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I am grateful that you and Scott cross paths,
Yeah.
because you both have had an impact on each other. You've had an impact on me tonight. And man, I thank you for that. I really, really do. I really, really do. I know, Scott, you got something to say. I know you want me to wrap it up, but I know you got to say something too.
No, we're man, another episode down. Man, Dreams Podcast, locker room to reality. This is what it's about. Making that transition from fantasy, from the fantasy world, Disneyland, to the real world, because that's when it gets real. We've been doing something our whole lives, and now we have to find a way to try to substitute that euphoria we've had since we were 8 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not easy to do. It's not easy, right? It's not easy. So, man, we'll be bringing on, you know, more amazing guests like Mr. Russell here. Go like and subscribe. And we're just gonna keep doing this, man, and blessing people because it's blessing us. Which each guest I learn something and I get better, and I get better. I knew it was gonna be good, but I didn't know it was gonna be this good. So, yeah, man. Just thank you again. As we wrap it up, you know, we just want to thank all our supporters. If you know anyone who's watched, put your eyes on it. You know, you've liked, you've commented, you subscribed, you've shared our stuff on social media. We thank you. We can't do this without you guys, and we just appreciate your support. And so, you know, we just want to say good night to everyone out there. And you know, Cliff, if you want to leave us with something, man, go ahead. Just leave us something really quick.
Man, you know what I'm gonna lead with?
Yeah.
This right here, that man, that Jesus is King, Jesus is Lord, and that the time that we have is, as my man Jackie said, is to commit. You know, that he came born from a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
He came and he lived the life that we couldn't live. Mm-hmm. The only one sinless. Mm-hmm. He died the death that we all deserve, that I deserve. And he rose again on the third day. And he did that for mankind, for each and every one of us. So with that, I leave with this again is this right here. The only way in which we understand like how valuable something is the cost that someone pays for that object of value. And Jesus paid the ultimate price for us. The ultimate. So that's what I'm going to leave with. That right there, my man.
There you go, man.
It was a privilege, man, an honor.
Yep.
Man, I'm going to continue to pray for you guys, man. You got something great here. Yeah. You got something great, man.
Appreciate it.
I'll be keeping in touch with you guys.
Well, appreciate it, bro. Yeah, man. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
All right, brother. Take care.
Absolutely,
Peace
man.
out.
Yes, sir.